Next, I would like to introduce Kenya Stump, the Executive Director of the Office of Energy Policy. Kenya is going to provide a little more insight into the new Energy and Environment Cabinet E3 strategy and explain how it embraces change and provides opportunity in our Kentucky communities. Kenya, I'll turn the screen over to you.
Welcome, everyone. That was a very exciting announcement. I'm Executive Director of the Kentucky Office of Energy Policy. We're going to briefly go through where you can find E3, KYE3, how you can provide us some feedback, and also just give a high-level overview of a little bit more deeper dive before our next speaker. Let me see. And Eileen, if you can give me a check, if you can see the energy strategy web page.
Yes, I sure can.
All right, everyone. We've just gone live with the KYE3 webpage. If you go to eec.ky.gov and head over to the energy policy webpage, you will find KYE3. We're calling it KYE3, as Governor Beshear mentioned, and it's really a design based on a resilient economy. Our website briefly goes through links where you can find the document itself, and goes through our community-based approach, as Governor Beshear mentioned, how we're going to move forward together, and also ways that you can start interacting with us on KYE3. KYE3 really becomes actionable through our public-private partnerships and robust community engagement. What that means is we want to hear from you. We want stakeholders to come in. We want to discuss with you what are the parts of KYE3 that resonate with you and that you're ready to work on collaboratively. As we say here, and when you look in the document, you'll see, pick your box, pick your partners, and let's get to work. We have a feedback form here, if you'd like to use the feedback form, where you can go through and give us some feedback, what resources you have, what goals are most interesting for you, and how you would like to work with us. In addition, if you don't want to use the form, you can email us at energy@ky.gov. As Governor Beshear mentioned and Secretary Goodman, cabinet members will be starting to take this on a roadshow across the state. We'll be coming to your community, working with partners in your community to host community forums, talk about KYE3, talk about what are the unique assets and qualities in your communities and how do they plug into a resilient economy through energy, environment, and economic development. We look forward to all of this. We want you to take a look at KYE3. You'll notice it's a bit different, maybe from some previous energy strategies. It's very goal-oriented, objective-oriented, and we're then really looking to find those action items that come through our collaborative discussions. So get ready, Kentucky. We're coming to you. We're ready to hear from you, listen to you, and here to work with you, provide those partnership opportunities, facilitate discussions, remove barriers so that we can get to work. That's about it for me. Again, Kenya Stump, Executive Director, Kentucky Office of Energy Policy. Please, if you haven't, take a look at KYE3, our website. Also, for a little bit deeper dive, we also have links to our state energy profile. That's the deeper dive into consumption and production, how we basically do energy in Kentucky and our energy landscape, and also, very important, Kentucky's annual economic report. So those provide some more detailed information as it relates to just how economic development, energy, and environment relate with one another. That's all I have. Eileen, Amanda, and crew, We look forward to hearing from you. Our office staff is ready and waiting. Again, energy@ky.gov, or you can use the form on the KYE3 website. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Kenya. And I have to say, as a public servant and a member of the Energy and Environment Cabinet, next year is really going to be exciting, or the months ahead actually are going to be very exciting, because all of this is about you, about the communities in Kentucky and how we can make Kentucky a better place for the future. Speaking of the future, the 2022 Kentucky legislative session is just around the corner. And with energy and environmental issues constantly evolving, there are sure to be key topics on the next legislative agenda that will impact our daily lives. I am pleased to welcome our next speaker, Barry Mayfield, Executive Director of Legislative and Intergovernmental Relations for the Energy and Environment Cabinet. Barry brings a wealth of knowledge and insights to the cabinet. His career spans more than 4 decades in both public and private sectors. Prior to his appointment to the Energy and Environment Cabinet, Barry served in various capacities in state government and worked in the electric cooperative utility program for more than 38 years. He is a graduate of the University of Kentucky with a Bachelor of Arts degree in journalism. Please welcome Barry Mayfield.
Good morning. The Cabinet has one major legislative goal for the 2022 session, and that is to update and enhance the Water Resources Statute. That will include requiring owners of Kentucky high hazard and significant hazard dams to develop emergency action plans. Now, please know that the term high hazard is a federal terminology and does not mean that a dam is likely to collapse. High hazard is based on potential and not on the dam's condition. It does mean, however, that if a high hazard dam failed, there is likelihood of loss of life and or property. Note that the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers Kentucky dams and one owned and operated by the Tennessee Valley Authority would be exempt because their requirements are more stringent. Cabinet resources are available to assist dam owners in developing emergency action plans by providing digital mapping tools, rapid dam inundation modeling and mapping, an emergency action plan template, and qualified dam safety experts within the Division of Water will be available to advise in planning, maintaining, and executing emergency action plans. The Cabinet has 2 other legislative proposals. One would grant permission for the Division of Forestry to amend current statute so it would allow them the authority to hire grant-funded, limited, time-limited employees if federal or other grant opportunities become available. With limited capacity within the division, the GFTL employees will provide the agency with the ability to respond to project management needs as they arise. The other legislation would allow flexibility in the governor's appointment of commissioners to the Reclamation Guarantee Fund. Current language requires the governor to appoint 3 commissioners who represent the coal mining industry with specific coal production qualifications. So 1 member must have mined and sold less than 1 million tons of coal during the 12 months preceding the appointment. Another member must have mined and sold over 1 million tons, but less than 5 million during that same time period. And the third member must have mined and sold more than 5 million tons of coal during the 12-month period. What the Cabinet is proposing is to amend the statute to allow coal representatives from lower tiers to be appointed if an individual cannot be found that meets the tonnage requirements in the tier that is vacant. Please note that if that legislation is successful, that amendment would need to be sent to the Office of Surface Mining, Reclamation, and Enforcement for approval as an amendment to our Cabinet's permanent regulatory program. As you know, the Cabinet is fuel neutral for energy choices. But with the expanding interest from both solar developers and from corporations who are examining ways to meet their sustainability goals, we've received numerous inquiries about large-scale solar. And we remain firm that solar agriculture policy is a local decision. But where appropriate, we suggest looking at reclaimed mine sites for potential projects. With 26 large-scale solar cases still pending before the Electric Generation and Transmission Siting Board, we do expect a bill to be filed this session to consider known concerns about bonding and end-of-project life decommissioning. And from Washington, we, like most, if not all of you, are awaiting the outcome of infrastructure legislation, which could provide money for the improvement of critical electrical grids, abandoned mine land funding, cleanup money for abandoned oil and gas wells, and for water and wastewater projects. Stay tuned, and thank you for joining us today.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayfield, for those very insightful topics. There is certainly a lot to watch out for here in the legislative session in 2022. Well, before we get started on our next session, we have a poll question to ask you, and it actually relates to this next session coming up. So if you would mind, all the attendees, to take a look at your screen and answer the question, how many approximate jobs in the Commonwealth are related to Kentucky's tourism? And we'll give you a few moments here to provide your answer, and then we will reveal the correct answer. We appreciate you taking just a few moments to answer this question.
And we will have about 10 seconds left on that question.
Well, Lindsay, it appears that the majority of our audience is spot on. The correct answer is 95,000. So thank you for everyone for taking a moment to participate in that. And this poll question actually is related to our next session. And you might be aware that Kentucky's natural landscapes are critical to major industries like tourism, bourbon, and manufacturing. Kentucky has more than 1,000 miles of commercially navigable waters and over 12 million acres of agricultural lands. Kentucky's commercial forests cover 47% of our land area, and we are blessed with beautiful places like Red River Gorge, Mammoth Cave, and Land Between the Lakes. Our next session brings together a distinguished panel of experts to discuss how the Cabinet is supporting Kentucky's natural lands.